All right, Bobby.
Yo.
Um, I actually have a couple of memes for you to look at here.
Okay.
Um, we sort of discussed this already because it was something I was partially eyewitness to.
Oh, okay.
This is the often referred to as Psycho Girl or uh, Dancing Laughing Killer or something like all these different nicknames that she's received.
Sure.
Her name is Stephanie Malgoza, and I want you to first read this bottom meme here. The top one. So the most famous image that you see of her comes from Law and Crime, and just shows her smiling reactions after she has ended two lives. So that's the most famous image. So I put that in here. It's not really a meme. It was used as a thumbnail for a video about her. And I will go into that.
Okay.
Like the memes were plentiful. So that's why I put two of them in here. So I want you to read the bottom.
Bottom, like this here.
Yep, that one right there. So I'll put in context what this is. This is her at the hospital after she was taken there by the police. So in yellow is the officer speaking to her, and then the white is her response.
Okay, so the officer says, "Did you understand what I told you? That you killed two people tonight?" And she says, "I'm just wondering when I can go to school."
Yeah.
I mean, education's important.
Yeah. A bit of an odd reaction from somebody
She really looks like she's having a great time there in those pictures.
Yeah.
Which you
wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't think anybody should after realizing that they've ended two people's lives.
Yeah.
This next one is I don't know if you've ever seen I think it's Phoebe and Chandler from Friends. I haven't really watched Friends, but I recognize those characters.
What's the name of the show? Friends? Never heard of it.
Shut up. I haven't really watched it. I've seen parts of episodes, but it's not something I got into. But
it's a great show.
This is a meme, I think, based on a classic scene from Friends, because I've seen this format used for a lot of other memes as well.
Right. Okay.
So I want you to read the conversation between Phoebe and Chandler here.
All right, so in the first picture, we got Phoebe. It says, "You don't have a bond." And Joey says, "I don't have
Joey, not Chandler. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I'm
your
sorry.
friends, man.
I haven't watched it really. I might give it a try someday, but I just haven't. It hasn't grabbed my attention yet.
It's pretty funny. It's got some moments. Okay, so on the first one, it says, Phoebe saying, "You don't have a bond." And Joey saying, "I don't have a bond." And then Phoebe says, "You killed two people tonight." And Joey says, "I killed two people tonight." And Phoebe says, "Your car is a crime scene." And Joey says, "My car is a crime scene." Phoebe says, "You're going to jail for reckless homicide." And Joey says, "So can I ask when I get to go back to school?"
So, honestly, it is kind of a, like, it's dark humor, obviously, pointing out the lack of awareness of this girl, using a scene from Friends as a joke, and it's hard to not chuckle a little bit at that.
Yeah, a little bit.
That format. But I'm going to be going over this story here, and I kind of want to give a background of my first experience of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
On the evening of April 10th, 2022, I was unable to sleep. So I did what I often do, and I drove out to play Pokemon Go at a place that had a good number of stops. The place that I went to was the Stony Creek Inn. I think I think at the time it was 3 stops in a gym you could hit from one spot, and now it's 2 gyms and 2 spots. So 2 stops. It's good from one parking space. I don't even have to leave my car. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah. It's Pokemon Go, so I should be walking around, but no.
Yeah.
It's lazy, but
Found
it's
a loophole.
It's a good spot to park. So I remember it being one of the first, like, somewhat warmer nights of the year. Even after the sun went down, it still felt super nice out. It did start like sprinkling, raining, and getting a little windy after a while, so it got a little chilly. But I had my windows down because, like, we're kind of almost freshly out of the winter, and so, like, even a cooler night feels nice on at that point of the year,
Right.
But I heard some commotion coming from the highway. I can't remember exactly what the sound was that caught my attention. I don't know if it was like the squealing of brakes or people yelling or something like that, but some kind of noise caught my attention. So I kept the window down and I was just kind of listening, like to see if I could hear anything else. And I heard some sirens start in the distance. And I wondered if like the commotion I was hearing was the reason why the cops were heading wherever they were heading. I didn't know for sure that they were coming to this area or not,
Right.
where I was. But being a human being in a fairly uneventful city, I decided to drive up the access road toward the noises that I had heard out of curiosity to see if it had anything to do with the sirens approaching. I saw a vehicle on Highway 116 stopped in the middle of the road, and the road was quickly filled with police cars. I saw at least one ambulance and a lot of flashing lights. This vehicle that was stopped, I don't know if I was fully grasping what I saw in the moment, because it was dark. Clearly, something was wrong because the vehicle stopped in the middle of the highway.
Right.
But there didn't appear to be any other vehicles. It wasn't stopped at like an intersection or a crosswalk, so I wasn't fully accepting the fact that the car had hit pedestrians.
Right.
It had kind of crossed my mind, but I thought it seemed unlikely because of where it was on the highway. Because it's pretty far away. It's right across the street from a bar called Full Throttle. The road is right in front of a bar called Full Throttle. I was across the street on the access road. But it's not somewhere where you would expect people to be walking across the
Right. Yeah, that's a
road.
pretty open area there. No reason to go across.
But something I didn't realize and I didn't think about at the time, a lot of times people who are staying at the Stony Creek Inn are from out of town, and rather than driving anywhere, they walk over to Full Throttle to get a drink, and then they walk back. And because the Loose Moose Saloon is the bar inside of the Stony Creek Inn, and it was closed at that time. And in fact, I don't think they have open hours today. But
that's too bad.
but it was closed at that time. So it became clear that something awful had happened when I saw that after a while there weren't any life-saving measures being taken. So I was waiting to see somebody put up on a stretcher and into an ambulance. Thinking maybe if somebody did get hit, that's what it would be.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I had seen something very terrible when I started seeing camera flashes at random places all over the road.
All over the road.
All over the road, yes.
Oh, dear.
Just being taken in lots of different spots. And I remembered the last time I saw that sort of thing. And that was when I was riding the Amtrak passenger train, for anybody who doesn't know the Amtrak, back from Chicago, and someone had stepped onto the tracks to kill himself. We were stopped for a very long time, so they let us out like on the back end of the train to get some fresh air after a while.
Sure.
And looking at where the train had come from, there were camera flashes being taken in random places all over.
Yeah.
Because they're taking pictures of deceased human beings. So
Body bits.
yeah. So this was the same type of investigational action that I was seeing on the highway. So with those camera flashes, I had the immediate impression that I was in fact seeing what I thought I saw. And in fact, the vehicle itself did have a human leg sticking out of the front grille.
Oh, you actually saw that?
I couldn't, from
You
where
couldn't
I
see
was, it was dark. It was dark and like, you got all these flashing lights and cops and everything. Like even before, the road was filled with police. Even before that, it was dark and it was like raining. So it was starting to rain. So like there wasn't even any moonlight, to like really see.
Oh, okay.
So like like trying to identify what was sticking out of the front of the car would be difficult. And
Yeah.
your first thought isn't a human leg.
No,
that's not.
No, I'd have a few guesses before I got to leg.
Yeah. So while I did see the aftermath, I didn't know that was a leg.
That's probably
So,
a good thing.
yeah.
You don't want to
it
realize that.
would have been pleasant. And in fact, I talked to Brandy right after this event, and all I said was, I think I might have witnessed something really, really bad. And later on, I explained to her that I'm pretty certain that one or more people were splattered all over the highway. So that was the night that a 24-year-old Bradley University student named Stephanie Melgoza killed 2 people with her vehicle. The 2 people were a 43-year-old woman named Andrea Rosewicz and a 55-year-old named Paul Prowent. Now, they're both from different states, so I don't remember for sure if because there's all sorts of rumors that were coming out, and I'll kind of go over some of the rumors that happened. But there are all sorts of rumors coming out, and some people had said that they were staying at the Stony Creek Inn. I didn't find that specific information on here because that's not really what I was looking into.
Right.
I was just looking into the criminal case of Stephanie Melgoza. The memes made their rounds big time, and then when the hospital footage was the first one that I saw released, and then the earlier part of the police body cams at the actual accident, I saw released later, and after that it blew up even further. So I'll quote the Pekin Daily Times here. It says, since the New York-based outlet Law and Crime Network, they're the ones who, the screenshot I showed you that had, like, their thumbnail I showed you that had, her laughing and smiling.
Right.
And they're the ones who posted that. And that is just an uncut body cam footage. They do blur out, like, the front of her car, including the leg.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, and they don't show any of the gruesome details in there. But it is essentially just an uncut interrogation of her at the crime scene. So the quote from Pekin Daily Times says, since the New York-based outlet Law and Crime Network released East Peoria Police Department body camera footage of Melgoza's behavior during a field sobriety test minutes after killing 2 people last April, her case has been publicized in media outlets throughout the United States, as well as publications out of the United Kingdom, Pakistan, and South Korea.
Wow.
Yeah. It made its rounds.
Yeah, it did. Well.
So this also sheds light on why this case was so widely shared and memed. It wasn't because a drunk driver killed 2 people. Unfortunately, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
It was because of her behavior immediately after the situation.
She was having a great time.
Yeah, and really should not have been. Which we'll get into detail about the facts, but I kind of want to start with things that were believed early on. So some of the rumors that I had heard. So you can't stop people from talking whether they know anything or not. So,
Oh, God, no.
Some of the rumors that I had heard early on, and remember these are rumors. I just want to point out and demonstrate how information and misinformation can get around very quickly. First rumor, people were saying that she kept saying, "Do you realize who my dad is?" People were saying that she kept suggesting that they wouldn't be able to convict her. There was a rumor saying that she had an open bottle of vodka in her vehicle. There was a rumor that the vehicle smelled like weed. There was also a rumor that she had booze on her breath and that officers could smell the booze. Some people were saying that they weren't sure if she had a field sobriety test or if they just assumed she was drunk because of her breath, and that's why they took her straight to the hospital. So that's another rumor. And then there was a rumor that she was never given a breathalyzer. So some of these rumors are true and some are not. So first, it did turn out to be true that she had an open bottle of vodka on the passenger side floor of her car. I don't know if the smell of weed was what the officers had reported early on, but it did turn out true that she had weed in her purse when the officers arrived and spoke with her.
That would explain all the laughter.
Yeah.
Get high enough, anything's funny.
We are going to watch a quick clip that dispels one of the rumors. And this is from the New York-based outlet Law and Crime Network that posted the body cam footage.
See my pen right here?
I see your
What I
pen.
want you to do is follow the tip of my pen. I'm going to move my pen back and forth several times. I want you to follow the tip of my
Do you want me
pen.
to like walk or just my eyes?
No, we're just doing your eyes right
Okay.
now. I want you to follow the tip of my pen with your eyes only, but keep your head still. I want you to continue that test, so I tell you to stop, okay?
Okay, sir.
You
I'm ready
understand?
right now. Yes.
All right, touch the tip of my pen just so I know where you're... There you go. All right. That's what I want you to follow. Nope, keep your head still for me.
Oh, my head. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Just your eyes.
Oh, shit.
No,
It's
we're
really
gonna
hard.
try that again.
It's hard.
All right. Just
Okay.
keep your head still for me.
It's so hard keeping my head still.
The best you can. Just follow with your eyes. Are you able to hold your head still without your hands?
Okay.
All right,
fine,
just
follow
fine,
your
eyes,
fine,
okay?
fine, okay.
Yeah.
Keep following.
She's smiling almost in like a giddy sort of way and laughing. And
Yeah, she's
Your
having
eyes
fun.
side.
so this part of the body cam footage shows that she was in fact given a field sobriety test.
Yeah.
And as it continues, she clearly failed it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
she clearly failed it. She couldn't follow the pen with her eyes. And she couldn't walk a straight line very well.
Right.
She absolutely couldn't stand on one foot.
No.
So they did, in fact, do the field sobriety test. So rumors that they might not have was not true.
Well, there's your proof right there.
Yeah,
They
and
did
when
it.
the body cam footage came out, it was very obvious. So she did, in fact, have the field sobriety test that she failed. In the same video, they do a breathalyzer test as well, proving that that also turned out to be false. So we are going to look at that point right now.
This is called a PBT test. You ever blown one of these before?
No,
Okay. You know what the legal limit is to drive in Illinois?
I do not, sir.
Okay, 0.08, okay? What I have you do is take a deep breath, a long, hard, steady blow into the straw, just like you're blowing up a balloon. Keep blowing until you hear the machine click, okay? All right?
Blowing up a what?
Yes, ma'am. Take a deep breath, long, hard, steady blow. A little bit harder for me, a little bit harder. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay.
Go to Bradley.
You're a Bradley student.
I graduate in 4 weeks.
You're a .264, okay? All right.
Pretty high.
Go and turn around.
That is a failure of the breathalyzer
Oh, yeah.
test. Very clear failure of the breathalyzer test.
What do you say? It was 0.08.
0.08 is the legal limit in Illinois.
And she blew a
a
0.2.
.264, which is more than 3 times the legal limit.
That's, yeah.
So it's not only not true that the officers just assumed she was drunk because of just smell of alcohol in her breath. She did in fact have alcohol in her breath.
Oh, yeah. Lots of it.
But they used the breathalyzer to show it very clearly.
Yeah.
So why did this spread so widely on social media? Why all the memes? Why did this get so much attention? It seems like a cut and dry drunk driver ended 2 lives, and she deserves to go to prison, which she did. And like I said before, it's super sad and very unfortunate that this happens all the time. But going back to the Pekin Daily Times quote, it was her behavior immediately after that caused the social media uproar. One such moment became meme fodder in this part of her field sobriety clip.
What if she's just socially awkward? You know? She's just
Well-
she doesn't know how to respond to all these authority figures, so she's just laughing. It's like a nervous laugh.
We'll kind of
Go over that.
we'll kind of talk about that too.
All right.
All right, so this is part of what created some social media fodder, some meme fodder.
Over the course of the night, how much have you had to drink?
I probably had about 3 drinks.
What is 3 drinks? You like? Are we talking what type of drinks?
Just vodka.
Vodka, straight vodka, or mixed drinks?
Vodka and water, so I was staying hydrated, and
Okay.
drinking.
Oh, that's smart.
on it.
Like right now, if you had me do a test, I think I would pass. Just like, not, don't test me, but I think I would.
I'll pass, but don't test me.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm good. Just take my word for it.
That clip,
Totally
that
sober.
part of the field sobriety test ended up becoming a huge meme.
Yeah.
And people would randomly post phrases, "Don't test me, but I think I would pass." Then there was one that says, Stephanie Melgoza to police, "If you had me do a test, I think I would pass, but don't test me." Which is somewhat of a misquote, but it does say essentially what she
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
So I first want to say that the East Peoria Police Department handled this with an incredible amount of professionalism. The fact that they saw two people essentially splattered across the road and a woman who was laughing, singing, and dancing afterward,
Oh, wow.
they handled it calmly and professionally, and it's something that I definitely commend completely.
Yeah.
So why do I want to cover this? I don't have much reservation about her being publicly shamed. She got 14 years in prison,
Wow.
but she killed two people. So if anything,
been more.
Yeah, if anything, she got off easy.
She killed
you
them
know?
violently. To
Yeah.
have people explode, you gotta be
she-
going fast.
She essentially annihilated two people.
Does it say how fast she was going? Do they know?
No, so in the video when
Where's
they ask her,
Mythbusters?
in the video when they ask her how fast she was going, she says at least 40.
Well, yeah.
Which
It's not wrong.
which is it's said, like, a lot of people who have analyzed this video have said that just shows her attempt at manipulating the situation.
Yeah.
Because she's not technically lying,
Right.
but she also is suggesting that she was driving more cautiously than she actually was.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't really have a lot of reservations about her being shamed for this
No.
situation. And while the memes are do slightly misquote her, there isn't a lot of misinformation being spread about them. The real misinformation were some of the rumors. I didn't hear. I watched the field sobriety test and the her at the hospital, and I didn't hear her once say anything like, "Do you know who my dad is?" I didn't hear her say anything to suggest that she knew she was going to get off easy. I think the only suggestion that maybe indicated something similar to that was the fact that she didn't realize how bad the situation was. Like,
Yeah.
she was that messed up.
I mean, did she not know that she'd hit people? Like, maybe she thought she hit a bump in the road or something. you
No,
know?
so at the beginning of the video, she says she goes, just the one person came out in front of me and I hit that one person. And then when I got out of the car, I heard somebody saying that there was a second person and I don't even know where they came from. So she knew she had hit two people. And there were pieces of them everywhere too. It would be difficult to miss.
Yeah.
She was pretty intoxicated, so like there's a chance that she didn't fully notice how gross the situation was.
Yeah.
But there is a point in it where she claims to not feel that drunk and that she's very aware of where she's at and what the situation is. Which I don't think is entirely true based
No,
on
that's
her,
a lie.
based on
She's-
her behavior.
Yeah. It's like the
yeah.
going at least 40 thing. She's just trying to bring it down a notch. She's like, oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah, and what concerns me though, like, it's not that like the memes are saying anything false, because most of the memes that I find are based directly on the body cam footage, which is that's the primary source of information.
Right.
So it's not making up stuff. The early rumors went around and then went away. That stuff I couldn't find making their rounds. Mostly it was just clips from these videos from people who weren't there and aren't from here. I don't think that the memes are exactly spreading misinformation.
No.
But what concerns me is the public response to these memes. And this is horrible in my opinion. I want you to imagine that you have a daughter.
Okay.
And she has annihilated two people with her car and is behaving in this way. Like, how would you feel?
Pretty awful.
Yeah.
Like I fucked up.
Oh yeah.
My kid's not right.
Yeah, I would be disappointed, ashamed, horrified, devastated. It would be an infuriating situation.
Yeah.
It would be the most stress I have ever been under,
Yeah.
That would be horrible. And whose fault is it that this happened?
Oh, it's all hers.
Exactly. Stephanie Melgoza is at fault.
Yeah. She's the one who drove. Excuse me. She's the one who drank. She's the one who got in the car and drove. She's the one who exploded 2 people, and she's the one who laughed about it afterwards.
Yeah, and so it's entirely her fault.
Oh, yeah.
What happened? So even like whether or not these pedestrians who were killed should have been crossing at that part of road or not, she would have been much more likely to not obliterate them with her car if she weren't driving drunk.
Right.
Because it's not hard to see 2 adult people in the road.
Not usually, no, unless they're all dressed in like asphalt colored clothing. Which I had that happen to me one time. There's a guy walking through the middle of a little town, and he was wearing like gray clothing. It was the middle of the night. It was
blending
dark.
into the road.
I almost didn't see the guy. Thank God he was carrying a box of beer that was white. You know, I was like, "What's that?"
What's that thing floating there?
Oh, that's a man carrying a box.
Do you know whose fault this isn't? Her family's.
Oh yeah.
So her family has been tormented by internet trolls because they saw a handful of memes and maybe they think they're doing something good somehow by being assholes to the family, but they aren't. They're torturing some poor people who have already gone through hell, seeing their daughter go to prison for killing 2 people and having these videos make the rounds in the first place, knowing that that's their daughter in those videos behaving in that way. And that's another thing. Like, I like her behavior is classic psychopathic behavior, but she's highly intoxicated. So it doesn't mean that she's a psycho or a crazy person.
Yeah, I know.
It just means in that I want to point that out because I think that's important. It just means in that moment she was not in a good state of mind.
No.
To
be that intoxicated, a lot of people have trouble understanding what's going on.
Yeah, but she had to be wildly intoxicated.
Yeah.
Like it was bad. But like they've already had to live with the fact that their college, or their daughter who was going to college, and was about to graduate in 4 weeks, ended up ending 2 lives. 2 people no longer exist because of her actions. And if that were my daughter, I can't imagine the level of pain and stress that would come with watching her go to prison for doing something so heinous and acting so callous in the moments after it happened.
Yeah.
And yes, she did apologize in court. But what everybody's going to remember is her obnoxious behavior caught on the police cam.
Oh yeah.
But the surface level, like this surface level nature of memes and the behavior of people responding to them leads to shit like this. So this is from the New York Post. It says, the father of a 24-year-old Illinois woman who was captured on video laughing after she mowed down 2 people asked online trolls to leave the family alone. Stephanie Melgoza's father, Patrick O'Brien, claimed his family had been inundated with hateful comments online over the body cam footage that was released earlier this week of his daughter drunkenly giggling after she fatally struck Andrea Rosewicz, 43, and Paul Proent, 55, outside of a bar in East Peoria. Tuesday, May 2nd, Melgoza's father posted this on Facebook. He said, we grieve with, so May 2nd of this year, of course, because the body cam footage didn't come out until recently. But on May 2nd, he posted this on Facebook. He said, we grieve with Paul and Andrea's family and are so sorry for what our daughter did to them. We cannot be sorry enough, but this harassment has to stop. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, leave the family alone. Stephanie's in prison, and this entire thing is on her.
Yeah.
Nobody else. And a lot of us have family members who have done terrible things, and it's not on us to be blamed for their behavior. Plus, she's an adult. She's 24 years old.
She was about to graduate college. She has heard at some point that you're not supposed to drink and drive.
But yeah,
even if it wasn't from her family, from friends, TV,
Absolutely.
Maybe they tried to take her keys at the bar. You know, somebody along the way has told this girl, "Don't get drunk and then go drive."
Yeah, like she's at least seen a commercial.
Yeah,
you know, like I mean, it's
everywhere.
Like, just stop trolling the family. That's insane.
It says it right on the bottle. It says, "Please drink responsibly."
Yeah. Yes.
Like every bottle of alcohol you buy.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much does. And I keep thinking about what it must have felt like to be Melgoza when she sobered up the next day.
Oh yeah, that must have been a bad day.
God, like waking up and realizing that it would be an impactful experience,
The
to say the
hangover
least.
would be awful.
Yeah,
And-
already
yeah.
already you're hungover like freaking crazy. You're gonna feel terrible.
Yeah.
You're probably filled with anxiety already, and it's too late now. The damage is done.
Yeah,
You killed two people.
It happened,
you
and
know?
you laughed about it.
If anything good can come from this, from the fact that this went viral and the fact that it spread all over the internet, if anything good can come from this, is that maybe more people will be encouraged to not do what she did. You know,
so, yeah.
the maybe the public shame will make other people think, I don't ever want to be that person.
Right.
You know, so maybe, and I will say, Melgo's statement after she had been convicted. She said, "I'm so sorry for everything. I will never, ever commit anything like that again. God, I fucking hope so. I have not drank since that day and do not plan on drinking ever again." Well, you're not going to get to drink in prison, so...
Well, don't they make wine or something? Toilet wine?
Oh, God.
Yeah, have fun drinking that.
But she said, "I want to try and do something positive to make a difference, speak out about this, and warn others about the dangers that come with drinking." The public shame that she was receiving was well-deserved.
Yeah.
And I do hope it teaches other people not to drive drunk. But when these keyboard warriors start aimlessly throwing shade on the rest of the family because they saw some memes going around, they're doing way more harm than good.
Yeah.
So, any closing thoughts on this one? On these memes here? On the impact that it has had on people? No, I'll be honest. Okay, so this podcast is going to make it sound like I fucking hate memes. I love memes. I think they're a lot of fun. And in fact, one of the episodes we're going to record today, I'm going to show one that made me giggle, and I love it.
Okay.
So we have a good one.
Good.
But what I do hate is people not understanding the impact of them and responding in wrong ways to memes.
Right.
You know, a meme can bring attention to a subject, and that's perfectly fine. But just behave not like an idiot afterward. You know, and think before you share some things. And think about who you share it with. Like, are you sharing it with somebody who's going to end up harassing? Are you sharing it with trolls? You know.
Yeah.
Like, so like that's just something that I thought. It's like, I think this was a good example of something that wasn't actually telling any lies. I think that calling her psycho girl, I think that's somewhat dangerous in a couple of ways. One, that psychopathy is something that some people suffer from, but they never commit any violent crimes. You know, they don't harm anybody. But calling her a psycho almost takes the responsibility out of her hands. Whereas she doesn't really appear, outside of this video, like, she doesn't really seem to have been a psycho in any way. And in fact, there were a lot of comments that came to Melgoza's father, defending her family and saying that it's so terrible that this is happening to you. People need to leave you alone. And there were a number of comments. I was very surprised that people were posting this publicly, because they're inviting a backlash on themselves.
Right.
But there were a number of comments saying that we know Stephanie, and that she's a really good person. She just fucked up, you know.
Yeah.
And so, like, that is a possibility in a situation. Calling her psycho girl suggests that she's always been out of her mind. And if her lawyers were to, like, use that in her defense, which she was already convicted before this all went viral, but if her lawyers had used that in her defense, they could have gotten her an even lighter sentence, you know?
Right.
So calling somebody crazy or psycho often doesn't have the impact that you think it does. It almost makes them less responsible for their behavior. So,
Yeah.
any closing thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Well, thank you all so much for listening to the Meaningless Podcast. You can follow us on X, God damn it, at Meaningless Pod. If I don't do a lot of social media, so except for when I'm looking for memes, or like somebody says, "Hey, this is trending. Can you talk about it?" So if you do have any submissions that you want me to look into, please submit it to @MameEnglishPod on X. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.